Add myself. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's WhatDaBuG. Yes. Yeah, they did. Hold on. So, guys, I'm also live on TikTok. If you guys want to come over here and see my face, or you guys can stay right here, or vice versa. If you guys want to go over there, you guys can do whatever you want. I'm live on both places. So, we got the book Whole, which is Melissa Moore, who is one of Gypsy's co-authors. So I decided that I wanted to start looking into stuff about her and all that because, you know, she's a character herself. I don't want to say too much because I want you guys to hear it, but her dad was a serial schmurder, and yeah, I was also llooking at what's it called? I was also looking at something else. Oh, we watched a couple of her interviews last night. Those were weird. There's like one with her and Ryan, and then there's another one where they do it on like a Zoom, and it's Ryan and Gypsy, and then Melissa also. I don't know. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so I guess for right now, I'll just change this, guys. Let me just get let me get this side set up, and how's everybody doing over here on YouTube? Let me go to my comments and do all that. Say what's up to you guys, y'all. Cryptics, what's up? Jonesy, Mariska, what's poppin'? Peace. What's up, Zen? How's it going? Awesome. Guys, don't forget to like, follow, share. Let's get all this out. We are going to start. I already have started looking into stuff about her, but I don't know. Jesus Christ. I'm always scared I'm going to like highlight the wrong picture and my finger's going to like poke it. And then I'm like, yeah, in fact, I'm actually too scared to do that right now. I'm not even going to lie. Don't ask why. All right, guys. So yeah, I got this book. What up, Angela? How's it going? If any of you guys over here on YouTube have commented, but I haven't responded, I'm just trying to keep up with everything from all the videos that people have been watching and stuff. It's not that I don't appreciate the comments and the love. I just haven't been able to get to all of them. I'm working my way slowly. All right, let me not put my hand inside my coffee. That was crazy. I almost totally did that. Yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely. Try to comment back on everything. All right. So we are gonna start this. I just gotta set my screen up the right way so they can watch it over here. Well, actually, they don't have to look at anything. What should I put up? Damn, I didn't even think about it for over here. Yeah. Thank you, Kay. Appreciate it. Thanks, Angela. Let's see. Yeah, no, dude, sometimes you just can't get to it. Or, like, if you check it, you forget about it maybe. Alright, so I don't really need to do anything for like that for you guys because this isn't a video, so I don't have to do anything over here. And the only thing I can think of is I'll just make something for over here. Um, yeah, just keep talking in the chat. So, alright. Well, I actually do have to set this up for you guys like that. Uh-huh. Yup. Okay. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm about to start this. I just gotta get it set up over here. Thank you, I appreciate it. Alright. So last night we watched a couple different interviews with Melissa Moore. Like I said, there was one with just her and Ryan. Um, she's just very strange. And then there was one with her, Gypsy, and Ryan, and it was actually interesting to like hear what pitches and stuff Gypsy's voice was in at that point. And it was also interesting to watch her body language and the way that she like readjust herself and like is holding on to Ryan's arm and stuff like that. Hey Nikki, how's it going? Welcome in. Everybody over here, welcome in. Guys, find everybody, share it out. I'm starting this. I am not waiting. I want to start this because I also I don't have forever. Not today, but we're going to continue on with this, dude. Oh, show. Thanks. It's the same logo it's been. You guys are silly. All right. You guys are good over here, and you guys can hear it because it's playing through the speakers. All right, let's just start. This book's called Whole by Melissa Moore. Oh, and Michelle, because both of them are her co-authors for Gypsy's books, and they affiliated with Lifetime too. All right.
Whole. How I learned to fill the fragments
timing.
of my life
You got lucky
with
that time.
forgiveness, hope, strength, and creativity.
I waited.
By Melissa Moore
It's been
and
almost 10
Michelle
minutes.
Matriciani. Narrated by C.S.E. Cooney. Introduction.
All right, hold on.
I am the daughter.
I just realized something. I didn't mute myself. Sorry, guys. I didn't mute myself. I don't want you to hear echo. Okay. No. Yeah, no. It's not.
Of a serial killer. For all intents and purposes, the first 20 years of my life were nothing but crappy. My suffering and self-inflicted guilt and shame went beyond my father's name in national news. His creepy smiley faces left on letters to the detectives who were looking for the crazed murderer. They would find out later all of it was unmotivated by money, greed, jealousy, or passion. All murder is senseless, but without any motive. The trail of women's bodies found along wooded paths didn't add up to much of a pattern that could help detectives determine if the murders were linked. My father was eventually caught when the police had the wrong man in custody, and my father's ego just couldn't take it. He wrote letters to authorities begging them to notice him. Who knows what would have happened if his pride hadn't given him away, if he would still be driving his truck on long hauls, dropping into my house to ruffle the hair of his grandkids and eat at our table, snapping the breadsticks in the very way he casually snapped women's necks. At some point in my life, as my children grew and my elders aged, I realized that life is but a blink. What was once a forever moment of holding my newborn has turned into a flash of a teenager's life. What was once me being a little girl has turned into my not remembering how to do child's play. And in those small spaces where time slips away, I have spent so much of it in self-deprecation, filling voids with food, numbing guilt with isolation, sacrificing good sleep to anxiety, seeking solace in random religious practices, and generally believing that this was pretty much it, the way it goes. But then there came a point in my life, call it midlife, or simply the pivotal moment when you realize all it really comes down to is a choice. I can choose to hate, chip away at relationships, and remain living a false identity created by labels, other people's opinions, fear, hopelessness, blame, and an irrational need to do penance and pay restitution for other people's sins. Or I can choose something else. I've been told by therapists and experts alike that daughter of a notorious serial killer can no longer be my identity. One of the famed researchers I interviewed for this book called this identity dangerous. These people say I must forge a new path and become Melissa. But my past is what got me to my present. It's what empowers me to interview on television other people who have been victims of horrendous crimes against them or their loved ones, and to act as a type of spokesperson for surviving all kinds of painful experiences. So one doctor thinks this is dangerous, while others, who don't know me or my work with survivors and families affected by violence, assume I am capitalizing on my father's crimes, using them to become famous myself. But what if I choose joy? What if I choose to wake up every single day and pursue the good in life rather than wallow in
What the? Nah, dude. It's already it. Yeah. Bootleg Siri. That's what they said her voice sounds like. That's funny. Hey, Ren, if she doesn't answer back, it's because she went over to YouTube. So she can do all the things and still listen. Mhm. Alright, y'all, let's keep but see, I don't know why though, it's not me, my everything is perfect and I'm home alone, like, I'll switch it over to this, but not I don't know, I think some of you guys need to update your TikTok, that's really what I think is going on, but also, if your phone kinda sucks, it's probably got a fruit of some sort attached to the name, um, y'all just it just sucks. I don't know, that's on y'all though, not me, everything's green on my side.
the bad. We have so little time on this earth. To really comprehend the shortness of this process we call life is to receive a gift. I simply decided one day to say yes to receive the message, the one that is alerting me that I am squandering my short time here, and to get with the program. The question then became,
Get with the
what
program.
is the program? There are several practices that, while not etched in stone tablets somewhere, are the tenets of life itself. For a long time I had turned my back on many of the experiences discussed in this book out of pure ignorance of the many parts of what it takes to be fully human. I denied the divine medicine that we have been gifted with in biology, psychology, and spirituality, esoteric and complex aspects of living, hope, fear, awareness, plus the day-to-day things that are so front and center, so in our faces that we often cease to see them, things like nature, compassion, forgiveness, and love. Especially love. When I set out on my journey to say yes to life, I thought it would be about healing and transformation, but it wound up being about becoming one with the deepest version of myself. Loving oneself, forgiving oneself, finding peace within oneself to the point where your highest confidence leads you to follow the path that you think is the right one, and then to have the courage to face the fact that that very road might not be leading you home. And when you have to change course, being aware of yourself gives you the faith and knowledge to make a change without the drama of beating yourself up, sinking into quicksand, or pulling away from others and opportunities. So what does this all mean? Where does the journey begin? By acknowledging that you have somehow woken up in the vastness of life, in the middle of where you are and where you must go. By accepting that you are not living the life you want to live. It is the facing of fear, the fear that the
Dude,
voices in
no.
your head.
Dude, no. Hey, guys, YouTube, Becca over on TikTok was like, "Is this some therapeutic book?" Yo, so this is Melissa Moore. This is one of Gypsy's co-authors. She's also been doing a lot of other things. She's very, very her and she's well, basically, she does all the stuff, but yo, in this interview, I caught her talking about what? Last night, this girl was on here talking about that time of the month. So that's crazy. So I'm thinking they both have this fetish. Oh, that's what I was gonna look up. All right, while we're listening to this, I'm gonna look up what that fetish is, and then we can discuss that said fetish. And let me know if any of you guys have any issues and maybe that's falling into your thing. We might need to talk about that. Or alternatively, I'd like to have you up if that's one of your fetishes. Come on up, and then I would love for you to talk about it. And hello, hubby, how's it going? All right, let's keep going. But no, it's this no. This book is, all right, I don't know.
Dance to,
Mhm.
and turn louder while you are holding your ears, screaming for it to please just stop.
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't actually say that. Oh, man, dude, I can't answer that, and this is such an important phone call. Smiley face, schmurderer, schmiriel schmiller. Uh, yeah, dude, I'm gonna have to fucking call you back. You already know what I'm doing.
Those gremlins in your head that love nothing more than to watch you try to cross the street, and make you question whether you know how to cross the street, until you are paralyzed in the middle of the road being mowed down by a bus. It means forgiving yourself when you are guilty as charged, but especially when you did nothing to earn your self-loathing. It means trying to forgive yourself and your trespassers, and living a life that is not driven by the pain that you have experienced. What I am talking about is saying goodbye to a state of neglect and walking toward light. It's about holding on to hope, dreamy hope, that state we mock because we don't understand it. It's about tapping inner resources that we are born with, whether we have an IQ of 60 or 160. It's about supporting ourselves by getting to know ourselves beyond the identification of the pain experience, beyond what people have told you you couldn't do. And
Wait, 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 wait. It does sound like a therapy book. I'm like, "What the fuck is we reading?" Alright. No, this shit is funny. This shit is funny for sure. Welcome in, everybody. We are listening to Melissa Moore, her book Whole. She and Michelle what did she say? Mastrosciani or something? I can't fucking remember how to say it. I'm not even looking at the word. I'm just saying it. Yo, what's up, Crystal? Welcome in. Yeah, anyway, we're gonna continue on, but that's what we're doing. She is dude. But yeah, she is profiting off of that, and she's continued to do that and got her nails into all different types of things. And Gypsy's in her pocket, so
worse, what you have told yourself couldn't be done. It's about being artful and creative, and being one with nature. I know it sounds like a bunch of kumbaya crap, but is that really where we are in this society? To believe that positivity and optimism and self-love is just a load of crap, something those crazy people do. That's sad. That's why we're all so sad. After years of fostering shame and horror about my past, I decided that I didn't want to be sad anymore. I didn't want to look into the eyes of my children and not feel complete joy. How could that be? All my life I was told I would know a love no purer and no more powerful than the love of a child, but still something was missing. And now I know what that was. Love. Self-love. Without it, I wasn't whole. And that's what led me on my journey. From the moment I wrote Dr. Phil and went on his Get Real retreat in 2008, I believed I wasn't whole because of my father and what he did. I believed I wasn't whole because I was spawned by a malicious, violent, sick predator and murderer, and because I wore clothes from Goodwill, had a mouth full of bad teeth, was homeless, and lived under the guidance of a hard-working but emotionally
I just wanna, like, let you guys know that that's not Melissa talking. Somebody else is reading this book. They hire people to read books and stuff. Yeah, like, it's like they're voice actors, so they just hire them like that. They're like, "Oh, shit, look at this category of oh, yeah, this voice would be perfect. Boring as shit, sounds like a white lady. Cool." It's not her. They said that in the beginning, that's not her talking. Instant. And actually, this isn't a ghostwriter, Angela, technically, because her name's, like, huge on the thing. A ghostwriter doesn't typically get any credit. They get money, but they don't credit them. That's why they call them a ghost because you can't see them.
unavailable family, along with my physically and emotionally abusive tyrant of a stepfather who threw my mother across a room if one of us kids drank too much juice. The very juice that my father would buy us on one of his random visits just days after raping, strangling, and leaving women for dead in the most beautiful parts of wilderness of the Pacific Northwest. God's country. I thought I wasn't whole because I didn't have religion. I didn't know God. I wasn't a good Catholic, and then not a good Mormon, then a terrible Christian, until I wavered between believing in God at all. These are good reasons to believe one is not whole, in my biased opinion. Whatever led you to this book, perhaps you totally get how easy it is to lean on horrific things to define you and your worthlessness, whether they were in your control or not. But labels aren't real, because they aren't me, and they aren't you. And hopefully, after you close this book, you will have begun to let go of your labels and have a glimpse of the self-love you have for yourself. Recognize a part of yourself you would like to develop, or discover new ways or insights that help you get up every day and face it with a full.
Okay, yeah. So Angela, I see what you're saying in the comment section. That's why I'm telling you. Gypsy's book, these two women, the Melissa Moore and Michelle, they wrote this book. Those are the two co-authors that wrote the book with Gypsy. You Gypsy can't write a book. Now, no. This is a co-author. So for real, these two ladies wrote the book and then they just continued along to kind of like, get Gypsy to like talk along and like, add more extra bullshit. Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. They're not ghostwriters. They literally wrote the book and helped her with it.
Full heart. I teamed up with my friend Michelle Matriciani, and over the past 2 years, we have had a multitude of passion-filled conversations about our mutual respect and adoration for many published authors, experts, and everyday people we've met who live with shame and pain and who are learning how to overcome. The result is this book. We tell it in the first person of Melissa Moore because the central stories come from my life. Throughout this book, we use the word storm to refer to the challenge or painful experience that has brought you to this book. Our storms add depth and context and humanity and richness to our stories. It wasn't until I was writing my own memoir, shattered silence, that I could stop and give myself a pat on the back for something I once did well that I hadn't noticed before. Writing that book was also a time of reflection, as I winced at errors in past judgments and actions. But the storms that we live through are a part of us only in that they have led us to this book. Then that's where they stop. A storm functions as the critical backstory or the prequel to the legend that explains why the Wicked Witch became wicked in the first place. What keeps her wicked is entirely separate and absolutely her choice. Throughout this book, you will hear phrases like, according to, and he said, she told me, research shows, and so on. I pulled together as much as I could from experts through original interviews and through tons of reading. This is how I learned to reframe the pain experience into the healing process, until we love ourselves so much that we can't help but feel whole. The process is not perfect, but it's how I muddled through to my own understanding of myself, and I hope it will resonate with you. By all means, some discussions may come too early or too late in your personal experiences. I hope you will still find solace and strength in the book's ideas, no matter when or how you move through them. Thank you to all the authors, researchers, therapists, and experts who provided interviews and other helpful insights regarding this book. Tom.
I think it's funny how she's like, well, like if you think we know what she's saying because we've been listening to it, but also at the same time listening to it, it's like, thanks for all the therapists. That part actually is funny because I'm like, man, you probably were using those therapists, not just about for the information. I don't know. I've just based off the last couple like interviews I've already gotten from her, and then hearing the book, Gypsy's book, and then I don't know, dude, she's weird, and this makes me need to go back and watch. I already know that we're gonna be watching the show again together, but I definitely need to go see a couple things, and I'll probably do that today while you guys are doing this. All right, let's go.
Rutledge, Rabbi David Wolpe, Pat Love, Doctorate in Education, Fred Luskin, Doctorate in Philosophy, Anthony Scioli, Doctorate in Philosophy, Barry Vissell, Medical Doctor, and Joyce Vissell, Registered Nurse, Master of Science, Daniel Rios, Marissa Minutoli, Pat Longo, and Natasha Shapiro, and to the brave women and men who shared their pain experiences and healing journeys with us. My intention was to bring them together and integrate them in a specific way as I learned to reframe my own pain experiences and make sense of my world and find a better place within it. These ideas have worked best for me. I touch upon them not in ways meant to be comprehensive, but to invite you to read about things that maybe you otherwise wouldn't have read, and to consider learning more about the concepts that resonate with you. As you listen to this book, I hope you do so with the choice to watch, to heal, to open, to leverage, to elevate. I wish you to be whole. W. Watch the storm. The wisdom of inaction. You are the sky. Everything else, it's just the weather. Pema Chodron. In the movie Deep Impact, a comet hits the Earth, causing a tsunami that devastates North America.
Yo, what the hell? I know, me too. Me too. But that was like the intro, so she's getting into her BS. But I'm actually sending myself the first episode right now because I have it on my laptop. But one that I edited, but it was not trying to let me show it to you guys. So it made me take it down. Yo, what up, Kai? Yeah, you're good. You're good. Just listening to this, but it's called Whole. Yeah, that first a lot of times this is, yeah. So does she think she is a therapist for Gypsy? I don't know. She might. You guys know how, like, they've been saying that, Ariana Grande and, what's her face, that they're like damn, what did they say? Basically, it's like a trauma bond. It's like the way that they're doing it's kinda like that. These 2 are, like, completely bonded by their trauma, but half of their trauma I mean, as far as Gypsy's concerned, isn't even fucking real. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Alright, hubby. We'll see you in a little bit. Yo. Yo, don't that's why I pause and talk in between, so but what's crazy, guys, is this is way longer than Gypsy's book. We're not we are n I'm not gonna make you guys sit through this like, Gypsy's. What we'll do is we'll listen to it for however long, and then after that, we'll switch it up, and then I'll drop that I'll drop the book for today, and then I'll either do something else with you guys today or leave, or just do that, but yeah. I'm doing a limited amount of time for this, Hollywood for sure. Well, that's the whole thing. So, so over here on YouTube, you guys, um, Angela says Hollywood, Hairspray. We are listening to "Whole" by Melissa Moore, who is Gypsy's co-author, but both of her co-authors are actually both wrote this. I know it's like it'd probably be way better, well, 1,000 times better if I was actually reading it, but this also makes it so I can do other things with you guys and continue to talk. But let's go.
It's pandemonium. A father and daughter, resigned to the fact they will not make it to safety within the mountains, head to their most cherished place, the ocean. In a harsh reconciliation with mortality, the young woman buries her head in her father's collar. "Daddy," she cries. She is afraid, yet she's up watching the storm. Her father, ever so contemplative and protective of her until the end, closes his eyes and cradles her in his arms. Cut to the next scene, where others are succumbing to their better-known primal instincts, running and screaming in panic from the inescapable. Amid the chaos in the streets, a middle-aged couple ceases their escape attempt and act on their last purposeful urge. They spend their final few moments gazing into each other's eyes, giving themselves the gift of an indelible image of strength and love. Did the people, away from the inevitable, somehow lose out on the preciousness of their few remaining moments? Was there something to be gained in the midst of their loss? Is it better to go down fighting than to go down possessing the moment in which you are taken?
Well, okay, everybody, thanks for joining us. This is not Melissa reading this. I will pull something up so you guys can hear Melissa's voice. Earlier in the beginning, I don't even remember what the name was. But you know what I'm saying? That's kind of weird that they would choose someone that sounds like this. It's weird. It's a weird choice. Yeah. Welcome in, everybody. We're reading Whole by Melissa Moore, aka Gypsy's co-author.
Now, I'm no philosopher, and I'm certainly not saying we shouldn't persevere over life's greatest obstacles, or at least try, but consider the wisdom in these characters in action. In the moments of taking their last breaths, the married couple, as well as the father and daughter, represented to me the importance of paying attention to the moment, to themselves and to each other. They watched the storm. Of course, their fate was sealed by a natural disaster, and it's likely the storm you find yourself in won't have such a dire outcome. Nevertheless, there is great clarity and acceptance in the pause they take from fighting the conditions around them, and that's what I'm talking about here. To do nothing, especially when something horrifying has happened, is probably the most difficult thing we could ever do. Yet in many circumstances it can be our wisest choice. It's a place of acceptance and acknowledgement of all the turmoil before you forge ahead. If you don't take some time to assess what is going on, you can wind up like me, and the millions of others who go in search of self-soothing, only to adopt destructive coping mechanisms. My shame and avoidance manifested in an eating disorder, chronic depression, social anxiety, and panic attacks. Why is the decision to wait to act, not firing off the angry email, not begging the bank for a reprieve, not fixing our child's mistake, or not crying to the boyfriend to come back, so damn hard? Because in the face of extreme stress, there is fear, and fear signals our brains that there is danger.
All right, guys. Also, guys, I understand that she's not reading with anything interesting, like as far as her voice. Okay, but still important because, like Miss Hannah's saying over here on YouTube, her father is Keith Jesperson. So you guys, he's a serial schmurder. Her dad is Dexter. Yeah, and so that's the whole thing. So she's twisted too. I know we watched those interviews last night, but I kind of feel like we should. I can maybe see if I can find other interviews with Melissa, and I can take a break from this so that you guys are like, oh, all right, cool. But that's the whole thing. Exactly. So Jamie's art corner over here, guys, says the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Trust and believe. I already know. Janelle says, "Bro, no wonder why Gypsy likes her. This is her first line of the description. I know how to schmurder someone and get away with it. The word spoken by her father when Melissa was a teen. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say, you guys. This isn't like random. Like this isn't like, oh, what the fuck book are we? No, no. There's a reason why. Because I said and everyone else is digging into the same shit. They're all at each other's throats. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna be focusing on the other things because this is true crime meets Hollywood, and I'm gonna tie it all together. But to do that, we have to learn together, and then I'll start pointing out stuff. Well, hey, you see this? You see that? Mm-hmm. Kind of like yesterday when I was watching some OJ shit, or like 2 nights ago, I connected something with Gypsy and OJ, but let's keep going. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, she sounds traumatized. Mhm. Yeah, I know. Cause everybody else is doing the same thing. Getting mad at each other or talking about the tea. I don't care about nothing. None of that. Let's go.
Doing nothing goes against our primal survival instincts and impulses to avoid said danger. If we win the inner war and stay in the moment, our hormone-infused fight-or-flight responses take a back seat to sitting still as a stick, making us a blaring target for the impact. Some might call this passiveness, weakness, clamming up or copping out even. But on second thought, is there anything braver than staring down something despite the certainty that it is about to wash you away? Watching the storm is the early time in a pain experience when, instead of going into reaction or panic mode, you wait, pausing so that you can conserve what you will likely need later in the healing process. Things like acceptance, clarity, and intention, which can sweep away self-doubt, denial, blame, guilt, and shame. It's an important time because, if taken, it's a time of deep reflection, of permission to experience emotions, and of an objective assessment of the conditions of the storm. Taking a pause will not cause you to forfeit the facts. Those will be the same regardless if you are frantic or not. But I have found in my own experience.
Hey everybody, welcome back in. Yes, I'm WhatDaBuG. Yeah, what's going on? I am live on both YouTube and TikTok, you guys. What we are listening to is Melissa Moore, uh her book Whole. Michelle, I forgot again already. I should be pronouncing these names perfectly because it's, well, you know what that is. It's a lot of eyes. Anyway, um So Melissa Moore is actually the daughter of the Happy Face murderer, okay? But she's got this book. So they are the co-authors of Gypsy's book. So I actually had just said, so basically, we're listening to her book, and yeah, this is a long book, guys. Everybody, please understand. So I'm gonna do this in increments, and we're gonna have fun together. All right, let's keep going.
Experiences, large and small, that stopping to validate the pain by calling it what it is, a storm, helps me calm down and create conditions for clarity. Power comes to you when you identify the bad and consciously separate yourself from it. This is not you, Melissa. It's another storm coming. When you are in a peaceful or calmer state, you will be able to access more resources and more facts that help crystallize a clear, motivated, purposeful response. Only then can we move forward with more intention than we would have if we didn't watch the storm. Preparation and contemplation.
Chapter
Sometimes we
3, guys.
express ourselves most eloquently by not expressing anything, by allowing our presence, unexplained and unembellished, to speak for itself.
Hold on, I wanna tell this is fucking alright, y'all. So when we were listening to Gypsies, like, I guess they were kind of the same, but, like, each one of these chapters is, like, 5 minutes long. But you guys, this book I don't even wanna I feel bad to even tell you guys, but this book is almost 10 hours long. We ain't doing this shit all we're not doing it like Gypsy's book. Oh, no, 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 no. We'll watch stuff in between. I promise. 'Cause hell no.
Amy Cuddy, Presence, bringing your boldest self to your biggest challenges. My life has been enriched by meeting people whose circumstances are nothing short of devastating and watching them persevere. I have seen how watching the storm acted as a critical time of preparation and contemplation responsible for their overcoming the aftermath of their storms. Unfortunately, I've also experienced firsthand how not waiting equated to non-acceptance, causing a cornucopia of issues, from addiction to clinical depression to suicide. You are listening to this book, perhaps because you or someone you love is in pain, and you want some perspective on what you can do. Something has gone wrong, nothing feels right, you're in the midst of your storm.
What? What is this about to be? What the heck? Dude. See how someone was like, "The cornucopia of issues." Yeah, dude, what the hell? Yo. Sometimes I don't know. Alright, okay, let's keep going.
What's my take on it? Pause. I know what you're thinking. You just bought a book in the attempt to make strides, to try to do something for yourself, only to hear someone with zero credentials, that would be me, encourage you not to act, not to do something. Hear me out. Usually, when we act, and especially if we're under pressure, we do the first thing that comes to mind, and without thinking about it. Therein lies the problem. We are reacting without giving honest thought about how we want to handle something. Our emotions and actions are being controlled by others, our own ego, and the environment. Operating in this state ensures that our power is swept away. I have found there to be wisdom in inaction, in an accepting place I refer to as watching the storm. In holding your attention on the harsh elements and igniting your senses within the pain experience, you will see what I now see. You can't control the storm. Scary, yes, but it also can't control you. Deliberately watching the storm has the potential to stop us from taking things personally and interpret other people's behaviors, opinions, or rejections as reflections of our self-worth. In the midst of a chaotic event, we can choose to give ourselves the gift of a pause, examine the situation, gain clarity, and choose better responses. I've come up with a motto that I try to live by. When the going gets tough, the toughs stop and do nothing until they are clear on how to proceed. Only when my thoughts feel stable and consistent am I confident that I can do stable and consistent things.
Hold on, guys. So I had to pause because TikTok tried to get me. So I'm just restarting myself, but I don't want the people over here to miss stuff. So I'm just getting myself situated over here. Yeah, dude, the comment section, you guys are cracking me up. I'm like, dude. Yeah. So I feel like hell yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. All right, sorry. Gusto, not Gusto, Gyps, Jip Jip. My God. There we go. Let's just do it like that because then it'll allow me to do it like that. And I don't really care about any of that. I know. So it tried to like restrict me. So I'm just restarting over there. So I'm sorry for you guys having to sit here in the silence, but I need to like edit the picture that's on the background to let people know the same way we did. But right now I just want to do that. But it's back up. If you want to be on TikTok, it is back up.
Reaction or response? What's the difference? Reaction is a defense mechanism, while response is a support system. Here are a few ways to know whether you are in an adrenal reaction or in a conscious, purposeful response mode. Reaction equals instinctual. Feels physical even when it's not. Doesn't take very long. Usually only one type at a time. Feels good in the moment, but often feels terrible when coming off the adrenaline high. An easy release, usually on an outside target. Think about the last time you spoke rudely to someone or took out a frustration over a bill on an innocent operator at the other end of a call. You were angry way before the person on the other end admitted he couldn't help you. Response equals conscious choice. Takes longer, can be multiple types at once, considers options and ramifications, depends on higher intelligence, is in line with personal goals, ethics, and personality, is a choice based on your best interests. The consequences of non-acceptance. Doing nothing can be a very powerful action unto itself. Don Iger. When we are overwhelmed or confused, we forget to use the tools that we have that can allow us to process a new situation. Acceptance, mindfulness, acknowledging emotion, embracing fear, and finally responding with intention and clarity. These are the conditions that create awareness. What happens when we do everything but that? I had a little problem with acceptance, Nikki said, recalling the weeks and months after her husband of 5 years left. I couldn't fathom an existence without him, and worse, I couldn't accept that he really meant his decision. It was such a breach of trust. Not accepting that living his life without me was what he truly wanted made me act in ways that are not only regrettable, but were detrimental. Nikki told me that she had incessantly called her ex until he changed his number. When she found out that he had a new girlfriend who was embraced by their mutual group of friends, she impassionedly emailed each and every friend whom she had known for more than a decade and broke up with them. With her husband gone and her circle of friends in ashes, Nikki became depressed. Alcohol filled her weeknights, her career suffered, she stopped eating and started over-exercising. She was scared and sad. Money was tight, and Nikki described being forced to move back into her childhood bedroom at her parents' house as the most humiliating experience of her life. This caused her self-worth to further plummet. I became desperate, and I cringe at the actions that made me look like a lunatic, Nikki explained. Not only did my ex have to have a threatening talk with me, but my parents and siblings had somewhat of an intervention. I couldn't get out of my own way. Nikki's storm was swirling around her, and instead of understanding that she had the option of assessing the conditions of the storm and responding appropriately, she tired herself out, mentally, emotionally, and physically, by attempting the impossible. Getting my husband back was as futile as using my own breath to blow away rain clouds, she said. What is the point of that? My first dive in the undercurrent. Sometimes the most difficult part of a situation isn't the struggle in the midst of it all, but the way in which it's dealt with afterward, as Nikki's regrettable behaviors illustrate. What's your next move? Where do you go? How do you move on? The world is spinning around you, and most likely, you either want to A. Crumble down into the fetal position and close your eyes until it all goes away, or B. Run away as fast as you can without turning back. I know, because when my first storm hit, I did the former, while my brother and sister ran off to the houses of random friends and hardly returned. My first storm came when my father's mugshot was plastered all over the evening news, a harrowing juxtaposition with the framed Sears portrait of me and my siblings that hung on the wall above our television set. Our posed smiles mocked me as my eyes darted from the wall to the screen, as the newscaster casually spoke my father's new moniker, Happy Face Killer. My mother, instead of taking a mindful pause, banned all media from the house. This led me, a curious 15-year-old, to look for information about my father elsewhere, and to assume I couldn't share with my mother the facts I uncovered and how I felt about them. Instead of my father's parents thinking before acting, their own shock and shame led them to completely cut themselves off from me and my siblings at a time when we needed each other most. If we all could have turned toward each other in our grief and not run from it or deny what had just happened in an attempt to protect ourselves from feeling anything, I wonder how differently the rest of my teenage years would have played out.
Okay, so right there, that's chapter 5. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm just trying to get something situated so I can direct the traffic for TikTok over here. But yeah, um, yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, okay. So now we're on chapter 5 right now. What's up, TikTok guys? If you want, you can go over to my YouTube. The link for my YouTube page is in my bio, so you can just do that, and then you'll see that I'm live. So we're doing that. We're listening over here for the time being, but as soon as I put the picture up, this is going to be muted and just directing traffic over here.
Trauma. It's a family affair. After all, when a stone is dropped into a pond, the water continues quivering even after the stone has sunk to the bottom. Arthur Golden, Memoirs of a Geisha. Over the summer of 2015, a new name appeared on the front page of most media news outlets: Dylan Roof. Accused of slaying 9 black churchgoers in a racial hate crime in South Carolina, it was after his own sister, Amber Roof, recognized her brother's distinctive bowl haircut on TV and called the cops to tip them off that Dylan made headlines. Police apprehended her brother in Shelby, North Carolina, just 3 miles from where Amber Roof's fiancé was living with his children. Beyond the shock of her brother's hate crimes and the grief for the victims who lost their lives, Amber was faced with a choice that no wedding planner has ever advised. What do you do when your brother shoots up a church just days before you walk down the aisle on the happiest day of your life? Of course, Amber and her fiancé called off the wedding and went into hiding. They were married weeks later in a secluded cabin, unable to salvage their original plans in their original venue. Amber and her fiancé have yet to surface. Solace and normalcy were stolen from her, her husband, and her stepfamily. Months passed since the capture of her brother, but Amber stayed on my mind. What if I could help both victims' family members and her heal? What if I can explain her sorrow for her brother's crimes and their own loss while she comes face to face with the family members? What good can be made of this senseless bloodbath, if any? These curious thoughts stayed with me well into the fall.
Alright, yeah, anyway, so that is wild though. Yeah, traumatized, yep. Faux show. What's up, Ash? Welcome in. Yeah, I don't think so. She's definitely insane in the membrane though, for sure. Welcome in, everybody. We are reading, listening to Melissa Moore, who is Gypsy's co-author, her book Whole. And we're almost done with this. Cool.
Fall
Chapter 5.
when I received an unexpected text message from Amber. She had read my message to her on Facebook and wanted to talk. The real victims are the ones who lost their lives that day, Amber stated boldly. I should not speak, as it may come off as if I am comparing my pain and loss to theirs. I disagreed. The 9 people who were killed by her brother were indeed victims, but her pain was profound, and she was a victim too. I told her that her pain and their pain isn't on a scale to be judged, as we can't view our pain through a hierarchical lens. Denying your personal pain won't lessen other people's suffering. Denying your personal pain will only increase it. One of the biggest reasons I ask people to sit with the storm, as painful as it may be, is because not doing so devastates families further. After the news broke about my father, it was everyone for themselves. This happens to families all of the time. Many people are pulled away from each other instead of toward. And here's what grows out of that: denial. In his highly influential book, The Gift of Fear, Survival Signals That Protect Us from Violence, Gavin de Becker describes denial like this. Denial is a save now, pay later scheme, a contract written entirely in small print, for in the long run, the denying person knows the truth on some level, and it causes a constant, low-grade anxiety. Millions of people suffer that anxiety, and denial keeps them from taking action that could reduce the risks and the worry. The save now, pay later scheme is so relatable to me. I can laugh at the times I skimped on the more expensive durable car for a cheap clunker that cost me thousands in the long run. Looking back, I was in denial that I had lost a father forever. He was away, but what did that mean? The long-term impact didn't sink into my brain because I was too busy clogging up the porous spaces with binge eating and schoolwork. I even purposely stayed in a school way out of town, which required me to commute 4 hours a day. When some teenage drama or dilemma appeared, whether it was being alienated from friends or grappling with my unhealthy body image, instead of dealing head-on with the fact that I couldn't work through it with a dad and finding a second-best solution, I bought more bags of chips and ate cookies in dark hiding spots. Riding away from my storm on the school bus and stuffing my heartache down with donuts are both habits that, to this day, I have to fight. But being aware of the fate brought on by the denial, which WhatDaBuG so craftily describes, has been more than helpful as I pursue my own wholeness. As I grew older, I became mistrustful of men, and not just men who romantically pursued me. It didn't occur to me that I refused to get close because of the times my father dropped off all of our belongings after he twice left my mother and my family. I considered myself wise for not letting men in, which in hindsight was big fat denial. But underneath it all, I was afraid of discovering a massive flaw or secret about those men. After all, I hadn't seen my father for who he really was. I hadn't known about his other life, so wouldn't it be logical to assume every man had an alter ego, a secret life as heinous as my father's? On the flip side, I was afraid that the man would leave, just like Dad did, so I would always leave first. A surefire way of protecting myself, but a horrible way to be in a relationship. By ignoring the patterns in my relationships with men, I ultimately destroyed relationships before their first bud.
Yeah, I mean, that's typically how that goes, right? I mean, she oh, wow. Update YouTube, that's crazy. Yeah, well, welcome in, everybody. Yeah, it's definitely got more people going and checking out what the fuck's going on with this dude, for sure. Well, don't worry, we'll be talking about him too. There we go. Alright, fix that. So, still just trying to let you guys know. Unmute myself. Hey, what's going on TikTok? Guys, if you guys go to my bio, my link for my YouTube is in there. We're live over here because TikTok doesn't like to talk like adults. It wants us to talk like children. So to avoid anything for my shit so I don't get in trouble, meet me over at YouTube. Alright, let's keep going, guys. Chapter 6,
The
by the way.
natural in doing nothing. Silence is the sleep that nourishes wisdom. Francis Bacon. How can we overcome the compulsion to react in the face of tragedy? When I've met others battling a sense of turmoil, I have found comfort in their experiences, not because it's a relief to learn that I am not struggling alone, but because we all have a common feeling of helplessness and loss of control. Understand this about doing nothing. It is as much a biological stress response as is flight or fight. Those latter two stress responses are a widely discussed phenomenon, gifts that lie dormant in the oldest part of our brain, the reptile brain, that make us capable of lifting cars to release trapped children or outrun a grizzly bear. It turns out, however, that the infamous fight or flight response has relatively recently received a new name, the fight, flight, or freeze response. According to psychiatrist, author, and UCLA professor Daniel J. Siegel, medical doctor. This response is thought to have real benefits for an animal that is cornered by a predator. Collapse, freeze, simulates death, so an attacker that eats only live prey may lose interest. Blood pressure drops precipitously in a freeze state, but could also reduce blood loss from wounds. In any case, it makes the animal or person fall limply to the ground as they faint, which maintains precious blood flow to the head. Depending on the circumstance, your body does many things, including reacting with autonomic responses like fight, flight, or freeze. Yes, freeze, like a deer in headlights. And it's okay. Our bodies will decide for us when inaction is the appropriate action. Recently, a group of neuroscientists at the Karolinska Institutet in Stockholm.
Okay, hold on. That although that is true, your body yeah, I already know. Because, like, yeah, your body will tell you, like, something, but maybe just use your brain, though, too? Like, I don't know. Like, "Oh, nope, nope, this is my body. It's got the instincts. It's got the instincts." Wait. Lady, lady.
Defined the aptly named stop neurons as what makes a person avoid getting hit by a car. I am oversimplifying this, but my point is not to be hard on yourself if you don't know what to do or feel paralyzed. It is a gift of nature, something that we humans have adapted over time to be able to endure the most hopeless cases. When Peter Levine, Doctor of Philosophy, a pioneer in pain and trauma recovery, gives lectures on surviving trauma, he demonstrates to participants how the freeze response works by showing a video of a lion chasing a baby gazelle. In fewer than 45 seconds, the lion is on the gazelle's tail. To the horror of the audience, the lion targets the neck, sinking its teeth in as it beats the calf's body into the ground several times. When the lion turns its back to summon its pack to feast on the kill, a miracle happens. The gazelle is resurrected. It shivers, gets back up on all fours, and runs away. The baby gazelle's instinct to freeze created a situation in which it could survive. When we feel cornered by our painful experiences, it is my belief that taking an emotional freeze in times of crisis can make sense. It's like having the power to look up at the cartoon cloud in your head and freeze frame the whirlwind of emotions and thoughts so you can look at them with good measure. Consider it like putting yourself into a timeout before reacting, except you are not necessarily ordering yourself to think about what you have done, but think about how you feel. Permit yourself to pause or freeze in an effort to be objective, perhaps replacing yourself with someone else in your experience.
Dude, what? It's so weird how this goes back and forth between, like, telling us something and then being like, "Well, if you need help." Like, what? Yo. Oh, he said, "I study with wildlife." That was a bit dramatic. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I don't understand, dude. Like, who you asking is who is on an apple? Because I know y'all know it ain't me. You know it ain't me.
What would you want to say to that other person in the circumstances that you are in now? When you remove yourself from the situation, what seems to be most important? Many books have described the inner child and how talking to our child selves can be soothing and eye-opening. How would you talk to your child self? What would you advise a friend to do? Or how would you speak to her to console her? Use this pause as a method to keep rash judgments at bay and receive the wisdom of inaction. And then something miraculous happens. You come out of it, shaking like a gazelle, but still very much alive, perhaps more so than when you started. I would go back and tell the 15-year-old Melissa that the adults around her have made a fine mess out of their lives, and that she is in no way responsible. Clarity.
Hey, yeah. Um, yeah, it it does not matter like which way we go about this. Like this is like it's so tiresome. All right, guys, so we're on chapter 7, but it'll save it like that. Um, I wanted to see if I can find I'm trying to think how many like who all was there last night that I can recall. Was that last night? The interviews, yeah. Melissa Moore. She let's just see what's popping. Cause oh yeah, I can. Hey, what's up, Hannah? What's popping, everybody? Yeah, so just we're reading this book, and some people are like, "Why are we reading this book?" But yeah, sorry for those of you that are here. We have to keep explaining it to people, which is fine. Be running so slowly. Dude, when I hear like that sound, it reminds me of elementary school. And no, not because it's a butt. This is let me see if it'll just do this. It's like acting up. It's where is she? I was like, "What the fuck is that?" I literally was like, "What the fuck is that?" Because it was taking forever to load, and I was like, "Where's that sound coming from?" Don't worry, we're gonna get back to it, but I just wanted to see because oh my god. Alright, so what the fuck? Right now, dude, I'm just trying to play this, this Melissa Moore interview or whatever the hell this is because I don't want you guys to be completely lost for the whole damn time. I don't want anybody over there. I need nada. There we go. Alright. Excuse me.
Well, I'm so happy
Now she's now she's a wait a minute. This is from a long, long time ago, but I'm just looking up anything and all the things with Melissa Moore. So this right here says this was well, as far as this upload for whatever, this is 9 years ago, but it doesn't matter because it still doesn't change who she is. So like I said, I've been just looking up anything and all the things. So basically, I'm looking for stuff that I've only looked at a couple things without you guys. So
to be here today, and I'm going to be really honest about my story, and I'm going to share my journey, and I'm going to just be honest. It's not the easiest thing for me to do, but um, it's important. And before I would have let shame get to me, and I would have silenced myself, and that's what I did for 15 years. I'm 33, and I was 15 years old when I found out about my dad's double life. My mom went down the stairs to the basement, and she called for me, and she called for my brother and my sister, and she said, "I have something I need to tell you, something really important. Your dad is in jail." And my brother had the courage to say, "For what?" And she said, "For murder." The next day, I had to go to school. I had to go to high school. And the media is all over it because now as a trial, they're speculating it's not just one murder, it's multiple murders. At lunchtime, I went to my...
Okay, yeah. See, like, do you see this? Let's see. So you're giving up an inspirational, whatever at a college or whatever, but like, no, no, I'm not doing any of this. Look at this. She's already grifting all the way. Like, this is so long ago. Just be honest. Exactly. Okay, yeah. Look, look, I'm trying to keep this interesting for you guys, because this lady is so yeah, she really is messed up from the situation that she's explaining right now, but she's still wild with it, yo. Like, she's wild with it.
normal group of friends, and they said, my parents saw your dad on the news last night, and we're not really supposed to be around you. And that's when I felt guilty. This is really hard for me to share because I felt guilty. I felt guilty that I had trusted him with everything, and I let him close to me, and he took advantage of that. What was sad for me looking back is I couldn't be there for my siblings. It was survival. I had to fight for my life. I'm sorry that I'm crying because I just remember that pain. And I'm so thankful for where I am right now, and I'm glad I can share the story with you. But those were the darkest days of my life, and I felt like I didn't have anybody. I needed to come to terms with my past, and I needed to heal, because I had just been surviving all those years. I hadn't come to terms that I had worth. I still was believing that I was...
Oh my god, dude. She's got them same crocodile tears. Yeah. Exactly. And exactly, Gamehen says, yeah. And she was a daddy's girl, always wanting to be in the limelight. Right, dude. She's definitely them little fake tears. Oh man. You guys know how, like, there's been all those different things where we've been connecting, like, certain things, like whether it be an outfit that Gypsy's wearing, or it be something that she said, or the way that she's laughing, or the way that she's talking a certain way when she's around certain people, or she's dyeing her hair because of certain things. Like, she's always trying to, I wouldn't even necessarily say please others. She's trying to make herself pleased with others, if that makes any sense. So she's always she's like a chameleon. She doesn't really have her own personality. She doesn't have her own anything. So, because she is, Janelle, she is. But yeah, like she's grifting like her, but so I don't know if you noticed, and this is long before Gypsy stuff, as far as them meeting and stuff. But you can definitely hear some of the words that she says, that she still says, some of the lines and all of that, even based off the way that the book was reading, and even just this interview. But there's so many little things like those crocodile eyes. I mean, she's definitely been talking and coaching Gypsy, and I just never really thought to look into who's Gypsy surrounded by. And now I'm like, you know what? Let's find that out, because everyone else is looking at, oh, well, what's why is Ryan so obsessed with her? Why is Ken doing this? Why is that Cowboy Bear? I don't give a fuck. Let's see what's popping with this.
this small.
The coach.
And I reached out. I tried to find the right counselor. He said, you got dealt a pretty crappy hand. I thought, a crappy hand. Yeah, you're right. I didn't have any control. I didn't make these choices. People made these choices, and I had to deal with the consequences. But now that I'm an adult, I can choose. And what do I want to choose? All of a sudden, I was like, I have options. I don't have to live in this. You mean I have freedom to get away from this? That I don't have to live my life in restitution? I mean, he was known as the happy face serial killer, and I remember feeling guilty if I sent a text that had a happy face on it, or I didn't buy balloons with happy faces. And so now I go and I tell my story to young girls around the country and to boys, and I go to high schools.
Dang! So that's why Gypsy blocked me, because her homegirl's scared of the U, in bug, because it's a smiley face. Oh, now it makes now it makes sense. Man, this lady is so full of shit. Like, what is she talking? I didn't want to send a smiley face as a text. Like, no, I get that. I totally get that. But it's just like the way she, like, I don't. This is too scripted. Like, that's the thing. So I'm at that point where I'm like, I've been doing stuff like this, but now I kind of need more, like, to have something to the side as pinpoints, but I'm still not reading off of a script. It's just kind of like, all right, that's the thought, that's the information, and then I just roll with it. But this girl right here is got, I swear she memorized this. She memorized this, and she thinks she's adding a little salt on it, but she ain't no salt bae. She just a salty bitch.
And like I said, it's not easy to tell my story because I have to remember what happened that night and many nights. But I feel like it's worth it because I know I'm not the only one. They say there's 1 in 4 women that are being abused or will see or witness abuse. And that's not okay with me. I can't believe all this time I thought I was alone in what I was going through, and to find out that there's a term called domestic violence and dating violence, I didn't know that. And so that's why I'm so passionate about going out and sharing my story. And I'm so thankful to you for hearing my story today. Thank you so much.
Gag, dude, that sucked. That was ass. Okay, Cryptic says, "It's like Melissa tried turning Jip into her little prodigy, just merged into her to get back in the spotlight. Precisely, narcissist." Yes. Yeah, I think so too, Kai. Yeah, so she tried hard to make money off her dad, but soon found out they cared more about his story. Yep, and so she found Gypsy. Absolutely, I completely agree. She was trying to figure out where and how, and she's like, all right. So she could have, like, so basically she could have easily just, oh my god, but it's like she picks like a murder on top of it. I feel like, let's say she's into true crime, all right? But like, I don't know. Uh, it could have been anything. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, whatever you guys gotta say, fucking say that, because yeah. And I'm trying to think what I was gonna say to TikTok. Oh well, let's just keep going. Or let's see if there's any other bullshit at the end of this. Oh, it's just them walking out. Oh no no no! What is this shit? We got, what is this? Meet and greet? Whack. Okay, so that's her on her own little press thing. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. I got distracted. I literally was looking. I looked over to the side and I got stuck staring at it for a second. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my god, that was funny. I was like, really, I like caught myself though. I was about to like just sit there and stare at that, but I also ain't. The music does fuck it up, like, because you got to think what she's there for. So that music is just weird. Like, it's like she's trying to give good advice for your mental health, but it's just messing it up worse. And you know, yeah. And you know what else? You know what else? If she really, bro, if she really cared or whatever, she, dude, I don't even know. She can't be just going around here writing these damn books thinking she's like a therapist, when you literally keep writing these books, and then you went with Gypsy and then you scarred everybody. You're over here like promoting your own stuff like in a positive light, and then you made Gypsy do an interview with a positive light, and it's like, bro, you're not reading Green Eggs and Ham. Like, this is like not Green Eggs and Ham. This is like, this isn't Out of the Dust. This isn't any of those. This is dumb. This is stupid as shit. Who the fuck says they want an explicit as shit, gross ass book like that read to their children. And that is true that, like, her actual fan base is all the people that are, like, anywhere between 10 and 20 years younger than a good portion of us, and some even more. Like, Gen Z, uh, that's now there's a lot of Gen Z are adults. I mean, y'all are old, so don't be playing. Yeah, Dr. Phil. Yeah, see, I had pulled that up to watch, and I was like, "You know what? No, I'm getting off of here." So yeah. I'm just looking around for, like, different, interviews to do in between the reading of the book. So the next chapter is 8 minutes long. Let's just listen to this and then, probably play some music and then get out of here. It should be about the right time to do all this. If I'm not mistaken, I think I got this situated perfectly, and it just kinda depends. There we go. Alright.
The result of
TikTok,
doing
I gotta
nothing.
mute. Meet us over on
Be
YouTube.
still. Stillness reveals the secrets of eternity. Lao Tzu. Every action causes an equal and opposite reaction. I still remember that law of motion from my 7th grade physics class. So therefore, it's logical to think that if you do nothing, then something will happen. For thousands of years, many different philosophies and religious traditions have taught the same thing in slightly different ways. The purpose of doing nothing is to wait for clarity. Only when we have clarity will the right response or path reveal itself. Very recently, I was caught off guard by the news that my father would be the inspiration for a movie in which David Arquette would play the happy face killer. Aware of my father's narcissism, I cringed at the thought of how much being in the public spotlight would tickle him. He would feel glorified, while the rest of us in the real world would question how far we'd go in the name of entertainment. It was as if everything I had done to move beyond the stigma of being his daughter had been in vain. I lamented over how the families of my father's victims would feel. How on earth would they handle this? Righteous indignation was my first response, followed by calling my husband in tears, whimpering, "But it's not fair." Like a 12-year-old, begging her unwavering parents to get her an iPhone. I felt compelled to do something. Stop the show, write a letter, complain, call the president of the network, get a petition signed. Instead, I swallowed a dose of my own medicine, always bitter. I did nothing. I watched the storm of press releases and advertisements and trailers roll past me like white-capped waves. As hard as it was, I denied my inherent need to react and forced myself into a proverbial waiting room of contemplation and preparation until clarity came. And boy, did it. The Taoists, as well as other Eastern philosophies and religions, teach this. The term Tao means way, path, or principle. In Taoism, however, the way becomes clear when one is in constant meditation.
Kai said she needs a notebook. Dude, I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm like, what? Because she's like using all these. It seems like a kid that doesn't really know how to speak in big words, uses all these big words at once, and it's like information, superfragicalistic, option sentences. What are you talking about, bro? Like, I mean, I know what she's talking about, but really? I mean, you didn't have to whip it out like that, bro. You didn't have to whip it out like that. Hey, what's going on, everybody that's just getting here? We are listening to Melissa Moore's book Whole. Both of Gypsy's co-authors actually are the authors of this book, so we're digging into that. But I'm telling you, welcome in everybody. Oh shit, let me do this. Guys, on TikTok, if you guys, the link is in my bio for my YouTube page, and you'll see the little ring around me. You can just click on that. I am live, or you just scroll down over there. Everything is WhatDaBuG. Let's go. Yeah, fucking nuts, dude. Yeah, it's Kai, exactly. Yeah, this is insane.
with all thoughts subconsciously regulated outside the state of mental stillness. In my stillness, I was able to avoid a snap move that would make things much worse.
Okay, wait. Before I move on, like, that last sentence that she said reminded me of that fucking 7 sizzling sausages in a saucepan. Sizzling in a saucepan. Bro.
When the movie was released, I didn't do anything except go out to a nice dinner with my family, distracting myself by listening to my children's stories about how their school days went, as well as to my husband's business accounts. The night slipped away, and so did my problem. I thought that was the end of it until I received an email from Dawn Slagle, the sole survivor of my father's attacks. Dawn and her baby were coerced by my father into his car, where he battered and choked her for several hours. Dawn managed to escape and stands as the only survivor of my father's 8-woman killing spree. Dawn had watched the made-for-TV movie and was disgusted at the way they used her likeness and misled viewers about her character. She wanted me to know that because she felt her
So now with Melissa, dude, check this out. Luna, that's funny. The fuck, what did she just say? She said, damn it. It'll come back. I'll pause in a minute.
reputation had been defamed, she was planning to sue the network.
Okay, there, that's what it was. So, she works with the Blanchards, right? Well, I'm thinking based off of the way that just sounded, that sounded almost exactly the same thing and way when Gypsy talks about not watching some of the other programs, aka The Act. But then she literally talks about parts of it because she's like, "I only watched a little bit." And then first it was she didn't watch it. Then she watched a little bit of it. Then she watched it never. Then she watched pieces of it. And it's funny because there is that older movie about it. I can't remember what it's called because I wouldn't mind, like, I'm letting you guys watch, like, not letting you guys. Yeah, 7 sizzling sausage, sizzling in a saucepan. Yeah, exactly, dude. That shit, that's what it sounds like. But, I was actually waiting for your comment to pop up. Anyway, so, yeah, but the reason I'm wanting to look into Melissa is because there was so many things in the one interview that I had found, and I was like, "You know what? It's so weird, like, she sounds like, yeah, I know what that one's called. I was actually referring to the other movie, not the documentary. There is another movie that's like The Act that is about Gypsy and her mom. Nah, yo. Alright, let's keep going.
Over the next few weeks, Dawn publicly spoke to the media about the movie and the wrongful portrayal of her. Typically, when it came to my father's victims, I put the onus on myself to pay restitution and somehow get involved, or feel as if I should. Sitting with this guilt and thinking about Dawn, I recognized that my first reaction to get involved was a part of me because of my faulty patterns of shame. When I let my knee-jerk reaction pass and really listened to my instincts, they told me to lay low, that none of it was my fight. Weeks later,
Uh
I received another
Oh, heck no. First of all, it's why is she trying to okay. Remember earlier she was talking about, like, primal instincts and shit like that? And, like, there is flight or fight or just stand there like stone. Uh, Now she's talking about her primal instinct again. I'm like, "But that's okay, but that's not what you that's not your body, that's your mind telling you that." So, she's trying to make an excuse like, "Oh, well, it's natural." That's what she's trying to say. "Oh, it's natural to think like this. It's natural to feel like that. It's natural, right?" I mean, it's not I don't know. S You know what this makes me wanna do? This makes me wanna take my head off and throw it at you. I just wanna throw my head at you. That's what I wanna do. That's what this makes me wanna do. Throw my head at you.
email But this time, it was from a production company. They wanted my assistance in developing a show that would showcase the ripple effect that serial crime has on the families of both victims and perpetrators. For the first time, I could move the spotlight off the criminal and onto the people affected. As we developed the show, we fell upon the idea of uniting both sides. The victim's family would meet the perpetrator's family. The show was a risk. Networks were nervous about taking on the show, except one. Guess which network was willing? Surprise, it was the same one Dawn was suing. Had I joined in her lawsuit out of guilt for who my father was, which was not something I had any responsibility for, I would never have been invited to work with the network, which has given me the gift of making my dream come true, to unite the 8 families filmed on Monster in My Family, and provide a vehicle for them to gain the answers and solace they have been needing for decades. In my case, the instincts for myself were right. Dawn's instincts for herself were right too. We both created change in our own ways. For me, watching the storm was leaning into the pain in quietness and waiting for the right wave so I could ride it home to my truth. Clarity comes when we are calm enough and confident enough to accept that the storm will not go away on its own and to be alone with our emotions. I realize how difficult this can feel, but I received valuable insight from author Marcy Shimoff, who suggests surrendering our trust to the universe to clear the mind. She researched the Happy 100, a rare group of people she tracked down who exuded happiness from the inside out, for her book, Happy for No Reason, 7 Steps to Being Happy from the Inside Out. What she found was that these people shared a common belief. The universe is out to support you. Happy people don't believe the universe is benevolent only when good things happen to them. They take this approach all the time. When something bad occurs, they don't moan and groan, "Why me? It's not fair." They see all the events in their lives through the lens of, ultimately, this is happening for my good. There are no mistakes. Let me look for the blessing in this. This belief in a friendly universe is the root of their relaxed and trusting attitude in life.
Huh? What did she just say? Because okay. Is that what you said over here? Kind of, not really. I don't know. Oh, and by the way, thanks for that suggestion. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I was just kind of like rolling with it, but you know what? When I put it in and then it subtracted the time for doing it at 1.5, it went down 3.5 hours. I'm with it. Yup. See, and she was already looking around for different networks to work with and do this and do that. Mm, I don't know. There's not a lot of people that have the situation like her, but no, I don't even know. Let's see what you guys are saying over here. I want the big green daddy to take me home. It's like has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But there it goes. Comment on the post. Yeah. Bleep bloop blah. If you guys don't know what that means, it means I want to get out of here.
Your storm gives you special status. When people ask you, why did this happen? It's always an unanswerable question.
Okay, wait. Instead of doing that, like, I guess we could listen. This chapter is a little bit longer. This is chapter 8. We're at chapter 8. So there's probably like 50 million chapters. The way she writes. The way these two write. Alright, well, whatever. Let's just let it run for a little bit more.
I don't know why it happened, but I know what I can do with it so that it is not just a loss. Rabbi David Wolpe. We are naturally built to handle crisis. However, we often act too quickly as a way of avoiding the crisis or distracting ourselves from it, instead of taking a pause to assess the situation and gain a fuller understanding of it before we act. This wisdom, to stop and do nothing until we achieve clarity, can be found in most traditions and belief systems, from Judaism to Taoism and Buddhism, and even to tarot and astrology. A friend introduced me to the work of Rabbi David Wolpe, and a sermon he once gave about the ancient Jewish tradition of sitting Shiva. This is the practice of mourning in which family and friends abide a period of doing nothing for 7 days, 7 being the translation of Shiva. After reading his wonderful book, Making Loss Matter, Creating Meaning in Difficult Times, I contacted him. Just on time for our 3 o'clock meeting, in walked a man as warm and comforting as the Chesterfield sofa I sank into. I had reserved 30 minutes with the rabbi, so I was surprised that he wanted to talk about me first. It was obviously Rabbi Wolpe's nature to welcome and comfort the broken-hearted, the weary, and the lonely, and to provide an attentive, safe place to fall. I found myself landing into his refuge of validating nods and frank wisdom. At moments I felt like a child listening to a bedtime story, hanging on to each of his parables of people who learned to make loss matter. A mourner has a special status, explained the rabbi when I asked him to explain the purpose of sitting Shiva. Between the death and the burial, we don't sit Shiva because we are in somewhat of a twilight zone during that time. But after the burial, one goes back home and stays there for 7 days. You can go to services, and when you are there, the congregation acknowledges you as a mourner, but then you go back home. There is no work or social engagements or even concern with vanity. The person in mourning waits for visitors to come and determine amount of conversation. Pressing pause to allow the wave of shock to pass before you are forced to react. No one expects anything of you in those first moments. You are paralyzed, so whatever you would do wouldn't be you anyway. The pause allows you to recover yourself enough to figure out the process of integrating whatever the
Okay, well then who is it then? If it's not you, is it Patricia? Is that who it is? Because that wasn't me, right? It's Patricia? I don't know.
result of the shock is into your life. I couldn't shake his earlier words. Mourners have a special status. When we are watching the storm, we are mourners, aren't we? Our storms change our life in some way, and part of what leaves us reeling is the sense that things will never again be what they were. Rabbi Wolpe teaches us that change requires loss, and that loss is something we should give ourselves time to mourn. The idea of taking a mourning period to recover from every storm makes so much sense to me. We do what we are able to do, but we do not force ourselves to carry on as if nothing has changed and everything is fine. We can be kinder to ourselves and take heart that nobody expects much of us except to sit and process. Maybe it's not literally sitting Shiva, but we are entitled to the time, yes, entitled, to become aware of how our lives have been affected and allow a proper reaction to the shock to manifest. Only then can we respond instead of react. Like I mentioned before, doing nothing doesn't come easily to most of us. But after speaking to Rabbi Wolpe, I felt I had permission to allow myself time to do nothing in the midst of a storm, and I hope you see that too. With permission now granted, here comes the hard part. How on earth can we overcome the compulsion to react in the face of tragedy? When I've met others battling a sense of turmoil, I have found comfort in their experiences, and not because misery loves company, but because we share a common feeling of helplessness, a loss of control, especially when the storm brewing is a Category 5 hurricane. I found that bad things can be meaningful. Through trial and error, I learned to turn something inexplicable into a purpose for living, helping others. Watching the storm is one way I have chosen to reframe my pain experience so I could reclaim my courage and produce a blessing. I am not suggesting that you should face whatever bad comes your way without feeling or expressing wild emotion. That would be asking the impossible. To the contrary, this is the time when you check in with both yourself and those around you regarding the turmoil that has you cornered, like the deep impact father and daughter on the beach, or the married couple standing silent in the midst of chaos. You too can grab a moment of peace and serenity, no matter how deep your impact. Exercise. Meditation. Soren Gordhammer applies Zen and mindfulness-based teachings to our modern networked lives in his book, Wisdom 2.0, Ancient Secrets for the Creative and Constantly Connected, and in his classes for groups ranging from business leaders to juveniles in detention centers to trauma workers. He calls for us to stop more and be. But he recognizes that our inability to just press pause is a stress in itself, and stems from being uncomfortable with how we experience ourselves on the inside, what he calls our inner life. The more out of touch and uncomfortable we are with our inner life, the more difficult stopping becomes, Gordhammer writes. So, yes, it's important to understand how stopping helps us gain the wisdom of inaction, but how do you practice it? Watching the storm become so urgent.
Dude, she's nuts. Yeah, whoever proofreads these books needs to be fired. And yeah, I don't understand. It's like she just like keeps going. Like, bro, you have said the same thing every. Yo, what's up, Brent? How's it going? Yeah, hey, Tony Robbins, that's hilarious. Dude, like, she said the same thing so many times. Dude, she I was like, "Alright, maybe she's gonna not say something different." Nope, she just twisted the whole sentence. It's the same goddamn roller coaster, it's in reverse. Reverse, reverse!
That Gordhammer instructs people to don't just do something, sit there. We love action, perhaps we may even be addicted to it. So we must learn to undo the action that propels us and threatens to mess up our futures. We think that when we are doing something, even if it is random, unfocused, uninspired doing, we are being productive, writes Gordhammer. Often, though we are doing a lot, we are getting very little done. In non-thinking, we do not follow the various associate thoughts in an attempt
Thanks, Brandon.
to figure something out. Instead, we let go of actively thinking and allow ourselves to receive information. Ideas come more as hits than as carefully thought out decisions. The trick is to create conditions that invite opportunities for nothing to occur. That's because these conditions are void of tension, which is what Gordhammer says is the culprit blocking right action and decision making. I know I can't make a decision in the heat of the moment, which is why I am not a police officer, a football quarterback, or an EMT. Only when a person is trained or practiced in subduing tension can something better and life-saving emerge. Writes Gordhammer, until we can be at peace with nothing happening, in a strange way, nothing really can happen since our actions will be an avoidance of non-doing. It is through waiting and watching and listening to what wants to happen, making room for non-doing, giving time for the right response and answers to show themselves. Friend and blogger Jennifer Joy Madden introduced me to the work of psychologist Elisha Goldstein, Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Goldstein's stop technique, introduced in his book, The Now Effect, How This Moment Can Change the Rest of Your Life, is helpful when taking into account how to prioritize and think clearly in the face of a storm. S. Stop what you're doing. T. Take a breath. Make it slow and purposeful. O. Observe what's happening around you and acknowledge how you feel inside. If you are thinking of something in the future or the past, bring your thoughts back to the present moment. P. Proceed after asking yourself, what's the most important thing right now that I need to pay attention to? A mindset of acceptance. Happiness can only exist in acceptance.
Okay, okay. That was the end of that chapter, like, what the hell? Oh my goodness. Fuck. It's so weird how she goes back and forth between, like, telling a story and then, like, giving, w like, words of wisdom away. I don't really understand what it's fucking weird. So weird. No, this is so frustrating, seriously. It's like, why are you talking about that? Alright. Okay, so you're trying to convince us that you've been fixed. That's what I feel like. She's like, I feel it in my bones, like she's trying to say, "Hey, look, I'm good. Now I'm gonna start, giving you guys advice because this is how it goes." Like, I don't think she's even trying to persuade us. I think she's trying to persuade herself. It's like, hey, is she crazy? Yeah, you is crazy. All right, let's see here. What would that land on? All right, one more chapter, and then I'm out of here.
George Orwell. I thought I had, in some stroke of genius, invented this idea of storm watching for myself. After all, for me, it was a hard lesson that I learned only after a lot of trial and plenty of error. But when researching this book, I discovered the concept resembled something much more clinical sounding. Acceptance and Commitment Therapy. ACT. Isn't that an ironic acronym? ACT? When I watch the storm, I do the opposite of ACT. I wait. ACT is cognitive in nature, meaning it relies on the power of the mind to deal with stressors. It is based on the ability of the mind and our ability to use words to describe things to make sense of our stress. According to Richard Blana, Doctor of Education, the author of Stress Less, Live More, How Acceptance and Commitment Therapy Can Help You Live a Busy Yet Balanced Life. We can assess our stress and its potential effect on us, as well as our reaction to it, based on space and time. I found this encouraging. It means that the degree to which we suffer in response to our pain experience is dependent on the time and place it happens, and on our overall health. So what we find unbearable today could be less dramatic a decade from now. Likewise, What we found worthy of fretting over back in high school most likely won't warrant more than a shoulder shrug today. Dr. Blana explains, not only will you be exposed to it, stress, at a different time and under different circumstances, you will be a different person and have the benefit of experience on your side. ACT teaches you how to reframe your thoughts and feelings about a stressor instead of resorting to an outdated mindset. Here is an example of how an ACT-trained professional might help me change the way I viewed a situation. Melissa, I want to be in a relationship, but I am too scared of being abandoned. Social worker. Melissa, you want to connect, and you are scared about it. Just a change in one word is the basis of acceptance and commitment therapy. Most of us focus on a desire to change how we feel about, in my case, abandonment by a romantic interest. But ACT says I can take action without first changing or eliminating feelings. Rather than fighting the feeling attached to a behavior, a person can observe oneself as having the feeling, but still act, according to an article in Social Worker Today. Instead,
Yeah, like, faking your emotions? Yeah. What? Oh my god. She is, like, the first ever. She thinks she's like, "You know what? I know that these, psychologists and all these different people were telling me, but I'm telling you, okay? I'm telling you."
of killing ourselves to change the way we feel, which usually creates more frustration and feelings of failure, it can be more effective to acknowledge and accept our feelings and then act, allowing change to happen in due course. If you have ever been told to change your attitude in order to change your behavior, you have been primed for ACT. Changing a behavior, going on a date when you don't want to, may eventually result in a change in attitude or emotion. Not all men are creepy serial killers. Focusing on changing actions despite the accompanying emotion is the key of ACT. In short, behavior and emotion can
What? Wait a minute. Okay. I mean, I understand what she was saying, but seemed a little out of place. Yeah, who did read this over? Was she like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm a writer. Don't worry about it. I got this. It's fine." What? Who? Alright. Okay. I'm just glad you guys are hearing it too, you know? Yeah, Hannah, I know, dude. I don't know why she said that like that.
coexist and be independent of one another. Not going on a date because I am anxious about being abandoned or finding out the guy has a deep, dark secret also makes it possible that I can go on a date while feeling anxious. ACT teaches that you can live with, insert emotion/fear here, and eliminate the control that emotion has on how you live or don't live your life. Such a mind shift was apparent in a friend of mine who, upon announcing her second job layoff, admitted that it was a much less emotional experience than the first. While her first layoff was devastating and sent her into a deep and debilitating depression, leading to her losing precious time in her life, she had a different frame of mind after this layoff that prevented her from blaming herself or feeling worthless. She understood the necessity of the job elimination from the point of view of her boss.
What? Yo, no, she did not just say that. She just said she had alright, Janelle, it's cool. Don't worry, I'm ending this in a couple minutes anyways, literally 2 more minutes for this, and I'm out because that'll leave me just enough time to play a couple songs for you guys and get out of here, but are you kidding me? Yo. Yo, if I was that person she's talking about, I'd be like, "What the fuck? Why'd you tell everybody I got fucking fired? I told them I quit." Fuck you, god damn it, Melissa. Fuck.
A compassion muscle she had gained, which we will talk more about in H, Heal Your Heart. And she had the perspective to know there would be life after the loss of this job. A universal trust, which we will cover later in the book. She had more energy and focus to scout jobs and network. She even thought of the downtime as a much-needed gift. It wasn't that she felt less sad about losing this job. It's that she was equipped now not to let the sadness be the only thing she felt. Acceptance helps us not only to find the language we need to describe how we feel about our pain experience, but then to use this self-knowledge to commit to the way we want to act moving forward. It's only in examining the usefulness of our thoughts, emotions, and reactions to our situations that we can figure out how to overcome challenges. This cannot be done if we spend time running from our feelings, our backs against the crest of the wave as it crashes to the shore. Commitment training teaches you how to stick to your plans while coexisting with your pain and suffering, Dr. Blana writes. It shows you that you don't have to eliminate your painful thoughts and feelings in order to move forward and get on with your life. As long as you realize that it's normal to have painful thoughts and feeling and to suffer, you'll be able to cope with these issues. Stress comes from feeling threatened and unable to cope. You need not feel threatened by pain and suffering. They're as much a part of your life as the air you breathe and the sunlight that streams through your window.
What? What is how do you just keep switching back and forth with that? That makes no damn sense, dude. What the hell? Dude, that's so whack. That is so freaking whack, man. What are you talking about? Yo, this book is funny as hell. This one is pretty funny. It's definitely not as funny as Gypsy's, but I am getting a it's definitely helping because once again, guys, we over here, we're gonna be looking into this because I just feel I've just you hear their names slightly and they're kind of pushed to the side with all the other things that are getting talked about, but this is a really, really, really important character in the Gypsiverse, and I think it's being overlooked. So I was like, you know what? Let's do this. Also, Kai, don't blame me. As far as the book is concerned, everybody just want to let you guys know, as far as the book is concerned, yeah, dude, welcome. You're now a buggernaut. What's good? Thanks, Mel. Yeah, so this is Bird's fault, not mine. I mean, I was already looking into Melissa, and you guys were gonna watch the other things, but this book, mm-hmm. Just letting you guys know, don't blame me. I'm just innocently playing it, you know? Yeah, dude. Cool. And I will be adding the stickers and stuff to YouTube since I'm back and I have a ton of different stickers. I don't know what the limits or whatever are over here. So yeah. Guys, if you could become members, you can suggest stickers, whether it's over here or on TikTok. We have plenty on TikTok already, and we're actually running out of room, and I have at least one or two more to add today. Because people want to keep saying all types of funny shit, and then it gets turned into a joke, and that's just how that is. So, yes, these older interviews and stuff are interesting. Like that old one that we listened to earlier, it's like, oh snap! But yeah, I'm definitely, like not really sure why. I'm like not really 100% sure. I mean, I know why they hired her, but she's just man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kai, that's what I'm saying. I agree. But it's like, dude, uh, somebody was somebody was doing something. I mean, she could have been pulling a Monica Lewinsky. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm just here. I can't help anything. All right. But that is funny though. I know. All right, guys, I'm gonna play a couple songs for you. What song should I play? Yeah, let's blast you guys out with "Make Me Wild." All right. I feel like it'd be better if I do it like this. I wonder which one it is better as. I'm gonna have to test that theory out. Hold on, let me let you guys do this. Hold up. There we go. Oh man. Yep, there we go. Oh Mel, you missed it. All of my insecurities, they disappear when it's just you and me. Don't try to hide the feelings that you feel inside, 'cause they're shining all so bright on the outside. I love the way that you are so real. All this time you've been making me feel like, ooh, yeah, you make me feel wild. Something I haven't felt in a while. Ooh, damn, you're so wild. Ooh, you make me feel wild. Something I haven't felt in a while. Ooh, damn, you're so wild. If you only knew all the things that I wanna do to you. If you only knew all the places I'd love to take you to. All this time that you've been standing right next to me, I can't imagine any other place I'd rather be. If you only knew all the things that I wanna do to you. If you only knew all the places I'd love to take you to. All this time that you've been standing right next to me, I can't imagine any other place I'd rather be. I love the way that you are so real. All this time you've been making me feel like, ooh, yeah, you make me feel wild. Something I haven't felt in a while. Ooh, damn, you're so wild. Ooh, you make me feel wild. Something I haven't felt in a while. Ooh, damn, you're so wild. Don't try to hide the feelings that you feel inside, 'cause they're shining all so bright, yes, on the outside. I love the way that you are so real. All this time you've been making me feel like, ooh, yeah, you make me feel wild. Something I haven't felt in a while. Ooh, damn, you're so wild. Ooh, you make me feel wild. Something I haven't felt in a while. Ooh, damn, you're so wild. You don't know what my world has become. You don't know all the damage you've done. You've got me falling apart now. Yeah, you've got me falling apart now. How could this become our reality? We can't stop all the fights and arguing. Now that we're drowning in toxicity, I really don't think that we're meant to be. I thought that you were the one that always be by my side. I thought that you were the one to be my ride or die. I thought that you were the one that always be by my side. I thought that you were the one that I could call mine. You don't know what my world has become. You don't know all the damage you've done. You've got me falling apart now. Yeah, you've got me falling apart now. How could we have foreseen our misery? We fell right into this love that was so blinding. Now that we're drowning in toxicity, I really don't think that we're meant to be. I thought that you were the one that always be by my side. I thought that you were the one to be my ride or die. I thought that you were the one that always be by my side. I thought that you were the one that I could call mine. You don't know what my world has become. You don't know all the damage you've done. You've got me falling apart now. Yeah, you've got me falling apart now. I don't know how we got here. All I know is we're not fine, dear. I thought that you were the one that always be by my side. I thought that you were the one that'd be my ride or die. I thought that you were the one that'd always be by my side. I thought that you were the one that I'd call mine. You don't know what my world has become. You don't know all All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are awesome as always. Let me stop doing that. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Oh yeah. Ren, thank you so much. Bryn, you're awesome. And Mel, welcome to the Bugonaut community. Not that you haven't been part of the community, but you already know. I will get the stickers up. Guys, don't forget, I also have merch. If you go over to my YouTube page, it's right there. I got merch. I got hoodies, got t-shirts, got mouse pads, apparently. No, not apparently. I know that because I designed them. But yeah, man. Thanks, guys. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Kai, Bird, Janelle, Banana, Cryptics, Electric Garden, Luna Rose. I don't want to miss anybody, but I might because I was paying attention to other stuff. Wildlife, yeah, Into the Weeds. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks for the likes. I'm actually still live on TikTok, so if you guys are still wanting to hang out, not hang out much longer, but I'll be over there. What? That's a weird thing to say. Okay. All right, guys. Well, have a good day or night or whatever. See ya. Have a great time doing your thing.